More or Nothing.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of More or Nothing with Ryan and Max. And in just a moment, we will also be joined by a Gloucester wing and one-time British and Irish Lion as well, in the shape of the extremely fast Christian Wade. And so we'll be getting through as many questions with him as possible, because there's a lot going on in his life right now. But first, there seems to be a lot going on in both of your lives. Let's start on the upbeat part. Ryan, how was Dubai? How was being away on a romantic holiday?
It 1,000,000% wasn't a romantic holiday. It was more like a stag do with your missus.
Yeah, but that's still kind of there's elements of romanticism there.
I think there is. I fucking loved it. I genuinely, and I've already had a conversation with Mark a little bit about it today, but do you know what the best thing about going away with Bex is? And not that I do anything wrong, I have done anything wrong, but the anxiety isn't everything is bad because you don't come back. She doesn't judge you or ask because she was there. So
she seems at your worst.
Yeah, anxietyless. New word. Yeah. But I genuinely, I fucking like Dubai. For a place with no soul, it has one soul. It is my soul over there. But for a place with no soul, it's just the convenience. It was fucking
it's a popular
lovely.
place, though, isn't it? Yeah, it's really popular now, especially with taxes out the wazoo over here. Everyone's escaping and running off to Dubai.
Well, that's it. And everyone we spoke to, so it was a good friend of mine, Henry Arundell, who I actually played rugby with since I was a kid at Farnham Rugby Club. Again, another Farnham Rugby Club legend with the infamous Joe McManus that's often mentioned on here. So went over there and, yeah, it was literally in and out, 3 days, but it was expensive.
Yeah, it looked like you had a good time. There was a nice little highlight reel of photos on the gram with the lady. Very nice, very nice. Good touch, good touch. I heard something very, very interesting though.
So just for context quickly, we were just about to come on to the podcast and I said, let me tell you a couple of things that happened before we come on. I can't speak about it. And Max went, no, wait, because I've heard something. Now I'm panicking a little bit.
It's okay though. It's okay because this isn't live. But it might be live for the sake of the podcast. I heard you chucked a man out, unconscious.
How the fuck has that made it back to you?
Did you put a man in a rear naked sleeper?
Yeah, a friend, not a man, a friend. How has that got back to you?
Oh, I have my ways. I'm Varys. I'm Littlefinger.
That is really interesting. Well, listen, it can go in because we're only messing about. Little wrestle, like as you do, like as idiots do, just a little.
Yeah. Next minute, he's just forgot to tap. You've held on for a bit too long.
No oxygen to his brain. Brilliant.
Yeah, it not a proper one. It was fine. So someone's obviously embellished the story.
But apparently it's a badge of honour. He's actually honoured to be submitted like a tax return by the great Ryan Wilson, the bad boy of rugby, hey?
I don't know. No, okay. But yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun.
Yeah, taking souls and watching matrimony. How good.
Wait, Max, you'd be surprised that when I spoke to Ryan, the first thing he said was like, yeah, Bex is such really great. She's really good fun about the girl he's known since he was 16 and has 4 kids with.
Yeah, I was like really surprised.
No, that's not fair. Like, she don't get to let her hair down that much. So it was we got excited, leaving 4 children behind and getting on a flight to Dubai, 3 days. You want to make the most of it. I'll tell you, fucking tough flight back because we did to Glasgow, so you had to be at the airport for 4:30. So it was get up at 4. And we didn't get until 2:30. So off. I was in a bad way. I haven't had a solid shit since either.
That's the worst, isn't it? Treacherous guts. They'll get
eating chips for a week, mate.
And then I was adamant when I got to, because then the next day I was straight to Dublin to the studio. Adamant, I'm not going to drink. I'm on a health kick. And then the mother's milk, it fucking got me bad. It just lured me in. There's a pub, Max, in Dublin called Mulligan's. And
Yeah, I think I've been there.
for all our Irish listeners out there, fucking let us know where you think the best pint of Guinness is. But I'm telling you now, this is just like, just
the Mecca
glory.
of Guinness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few I've heard of. There's one behind a cemetery somewhere. What's it called? Like the grave digger or something. But Mulligan's, you're up there. You're up there, Mulligan's.
The Asgardian mead hall of Guineas. How good. Very
Myself and Mark did chat about this earlier. That is it now. I went to the gym today for the first time in a long time, like properly, and this guy is sorting out his rig.
Yeah, it's not. You're not in bad shape though,
mate. You should see me now.
Have you got fluffy? Have you?
Yeah. Well, so I reckon it kicks in about 2 weeks later. Do you reckon 2 weeks to take effect?
Yeah, if you're going ham sandwich on it, yeah.
So I think Hong Kong was a couple of weeks ago, then Dubai, then all the it's just caught up with me. It's caught up with the gut. It's in a bad way. So anyway, Max, have things been quieter for you?
Oh mate, we played yesterday, Easter Sunday. Took on the mighty Tigers. Forgot to pack my cinnamon. Tigers hate cinnamon, and they got the revenge on us. We were just sloppy lads, giving away ball like it was nutty. Yeah, but I
did watch a bit of it. It was. Do you know what? I actually put it on and cooked a lovely Sunday roast, and the kids were like, "Oh, is Uncle Max playing?" I was like, "Yeah, well, look out for him. They were looking everywhere." Were you on the bench to start?
I was on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that was it. But I watched a glimpse of it. Fuck me, just like throwing the ball around willy nilly, weren't you?
You go, we go. You go, we go. You go, we go. You go, we go. It was mental. Yeah. So wasn't the most composed game of rugby, but less were the better for it, and they got the better of us on this day. So we move on. Saturday we got Saints, so that'll be a tough place to go. Franklin's Gardens, they're obviously hitting some form, so it should be a juicy encounter.
What? Hold on. What about old Tavina's Ravuvu's fucking round the back pass though? Holy hiccup.
Oh, calamari ravioli. Yeah, mate, that was outrageous. He did one over on Satotu because remember Hoskins Satotu threw that one, but it bounced on the floor.
Yeah,
but very similar. And then calamari just absolutely just NFL street that, didn't he? That was
absolutely
outrageous. Yeah, some serious razzle points.
Mark, are you? Because I always feel sorry for you, and now that what is the time there? Because we've made you wake up. Because we've obviously got a star guest on, like you said. But 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. There,
yeah, 2 o'clock. That when that alarm rung in at whatever it was, 1:30, and you're like, this is awful. But a bit like that morning routine you did, Max, I thought this is a great opportunity. I could do my entire morning routine. I just start it at 1:15 and then 1:30, and then I'm ahead of the game.
Not sleeping to prepare for the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who needs sleep? Like that's what it is. I felt so disgustingly unfresh. Sat here with my just feeling of like slightly sick.
Yeah,
and feeling like the fire alarm had gone off because you're so out of it. You're like, where am I? Like straight out of bed, but all good.
Yeah, that's a strange feeling, isn't it? It's quite like dusty. You're just dusty. The land of Nod's still kind of on you, and you're just.
I'm trying to work out a couple other things, by the way, because you know when you've been like midweek piss up, you miss a lot of things.
What is in your memory?
My memory's like fully lost, but I swear there was a few other bits that I'm sure we'll get into. So my memory will come back as we go. But I swear there was something else that I needed to chat to Max about, and I can't remember what it is. Were you just in training all last week then?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a full-on week. It was prepped well, to be fair. Just a shame we didn't get it done on Sunday, but such is the way of the sport sometimes.
Did you have a tryout day for like kids and stuff?
We did. We had like a sort of come as you are sort of open tryout. See who's got potential. Like 200 applicants or so, and then it was sort of narrowed down to 50.
What would you have done if I'd fucking turned up, Max? Imagine I turned up with kids.
With a load of uni kids and then grandpa
just Max said to pop down.
Said there's an open trial.
That would have been outstanding. Can you imagine you running a Bronco now, though?
Oh, I watched on social media earlier. Matt Gitto does all that still, like forward and backwards. Like fucking hell, what? Why would you do that? Like I'm gonna be straight up today. I went to the gym, did a little bit of. You told me to do some incline dumbbell bench, which I never really done before. Done a few body weight dips, and then I walked on the fucking treadmill because I saw some woman on Instagram doing it. Apparently, it's good for burning calories. So I walked uphill on a treadmill. How pathetic is that?
That's not. Yeah, but that's with the big incline. It's actually really effective.
Yeah, but boys, this fucking Legends Lions tour, whatever it's called. Otherwise, I could die.
Yeah, I think you just need to make sure.
You seem bothered that I could die. Like a bit of silence there.
No, I don't think you can because you're like sort of like you got that Wolverine mentality, you know.
It's extraordinary.
Like, I think you'd be incredibly hard to kill. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sort of constitution that would go well as a rock star or a special forces soldier. You just enjoy being in a horrible place. You know, it's one or the other. Just horrible cockroach man. I reckon you were I was never injured really, unless it was really severe. Minimally,
the knight from Monty Python. Just getting
it was. Yeah. I was one of those that you should just train for it. Just train for it. That was my motto. Just train for it, and then it'll all get better. The pain will go away.
Just make sure you hit the running. That's the most important. Some sprints, bit of change of direction. It's the lower limbs, soft tissues that'll get you because you'll have been out of it for so long.
Well, I'm gonna have to make sure I get that training regime off you over the next few weeks.
Yeah. I'll hit you up, big boy.
Well, we are delighted to be joined by Gloucester star, England and British and Irish Lion in Christian Wade. Christian, thanks for coming on. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. Excellent, mate. I mean, it's a bit of a how to say it? Like the weekend for me was really good, but then also not so good. You know, there was some good news about where I'm going next year, but then we obviously lost the Saracens, so it's been a bit of a mixed emotions type of weekend. And of course, it was Easter Sunday, so yeah, it's been a bag of emotions. But you know, I'm in a good place.
That the news all coming out this week. Big move to Rugby League. Talk us through it. You know. Big decision from your part. Has that been brewing for a while? Has that always been the plan?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned it a couple of times, but you know, since 2018 when I decided to leave rugby and pursue, you know, trying to get into the NFL, you know, it's almost like it opened up opportunities for other people to come and approach me. You know, they obviously saw my appetite to do other things, and you know, rugby league was one of those things which, you know, for me from the beginning was a bit like, you know, very out the box type of suggestion and stuff. And, you know, at that time I was very pursued on or very focused on, you know, my dream of trying to play in the NFL and test myself over there. So I wasn't really ready to do anything else other than that. And, you know, even when I got injured in America, decided to have a look at rugby union, and I was playing at Racing. You know, yet again, I had some rugby league teams approach me, and then just like this, you know, this beginning of this year, when I knew that I was going to be a free agent end of this season, same thing happened again. So yeah, it's been on the cards. I could say for, you know, the best part of 7 years.
Yeah, I suppose that's a big thing, by the way, because like you said, if you transferred over to the NFL, they've seen that you're willing to do a few different bits. So that's massive, because I bet you there's a lot of teams out there that wouldn't even look at a player because they think, oh, well, he's only going to stick to what he's doing. So did your agent have a big role in that? And there's something to do, am I right with this? There's no salary cap for someone that hasn't ever played league. Am I right? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, so there's something around that where if it's your basically your first year in the league, you know, you don't count towards the team salary cap or something like that. So there is that opportunity for rugby union players to, you know, come and play, you know, league and not have to, you know, worry about salary cap stuff, so to speak. And yeah, like I said, it's been on the cards for 7 years. But even going back to your original point, which obviously, you know, lines up with what I was saying. Rugby union players usually just play rugby union, right? And no one's really thinking about doing anything else, playing NFL, trying rugby league. And I think, just like I said, having that bravery or just opening up my horizons to doing something different definitely gave other people that opportunity to let's give it a try, see if you will be up for doing this.
Mate, have you ever trained with them though? Because we went down and trained with them fuckers. Jesus Christ. Nah.
Yeah, now to be honest, I haven't. I've watched there's a documentary on Wigan, which I've been watching, and even the first time I went down, because it was a big, it was quite a, it was like I felt like it was an what do you call it, Secret Service type agent, because it was going up to see the coaches and stuff. It was like offside. I didn't actually get to see the facility until the day of the announcement, so I went in early. So none of the players knew. Most of the staff didn't know as well. I remember that when I went up there Friday, the commercial team was like, we only found out this morning that this was happening. So, it was probably one of the biggest secrets in rugby. Everyone was, there was no loose lips when, in rugby, people like to talk. So it was pretty, the operation was successful. Let's say that. But, I went in the gym. I was gonna say, I went in the gym, and to my surprise, there's a flipping UFC octagon, bro, in the middle of the gym.
Oh, mate.
Full on cage, bro. Like, I was like,
different gravy in it.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. So, there's probably going to be a couple of bouts, in training, which will be a lot different to what I'm used to, what we're used to. But, like I said, I'm up for the challenge, right?
Yeah, but you fucking dodge people. You're good at dodging cunts, whereas I've fucking seen it. Like they'd fucking run it straight, and you just get melted by two people. I was like, this can't be real. They've just upped this because they're like, oh, fucking little union players coming down. Let's fucking show them out. Yeah. They're just doing this to show us how tough they are. But mate, I've seen it. It's chaos.
I think it's definitely. I'm definitely gonna have to get used to more collisions and stuff, and even playing on the wing, which I believe will be my position. It's like you got first carry off the kick, and then you've got second carry, which is usually the winger. Sometimes I might have to bring the ball out as well. So, it's not that we always talk about get two-man tackle, one man low, one man high. These guys are talking about 3, 4, 5-man tackles, bro. So it's going to be a different skill to kind of master, if you know what I'm saying. But I'm excited about it, man, and just mate, God gave me this gift to be able to play sports, and I've got a few strengths and attributes that I'm looking to use, and I just don't want to waste that. When the opportunities come up, I want to make the most of it. So when I'm older, I can look back, tell my kids, my grandkids, I did some of this, I did some of that, and just be able to share my experiences with whoever.
Yeah, that's class.
Yeah,
Christian, it seems like you're, when you came back to the Prem, the feeling was he's here to become the record all-time Prem scorer. But then perhaps now the way you're talking, it's actually challenges that motivate you more than milestones. Because now when you look at it, the NFL, France, Rugby League, you're just sort of more living in the moment now rather than just being so singular focused on, achieving a record or a milestone.
Yeah, I think I just through my career, as most rugby players can attest to, your main focus is playing for your country, right? And that's the drive. Some people it's money, although people won't say it's money. And I think I experienced enough quite early on, where from 2015 onwards, my drive wasn't to play for my country as such, because I just felt like that was limiting me in terms of where my thought processes were, the challenges that I put on myself. And, since then, actually, I felt more free as an athlete than I ever could have done before that. And so, things like the NFL, some of the records I've been able to set, some of the things I've achieved in my career, I think is because of that, freeing mindset that I had. And, to go back to your point about, coming back to rugby to set the record, I actually wasn't planning on coming back. When I said I was retiring in 2018, that was my my actual thought process. Go to America, back myself over there, and just keep chasing the dream until I can't play anymore. But because of a shoulder injury, kind of kept me out for the whole season, and then obviously I got released at that point. Being 31, the NFL is a young man's game, and I didn't really want to put myself through the whole process of learning a new playbook, trying to find another team. Still hadn't really had a lot of snaps in the NFL, which means it's a lot harder for people to, trust in your abilities and stuff. Unlike guys who've been in a college system, high school, had snaps in the NFL, it's a lot easier. So that's when I've, started to think about coming back to rugby, but with that mindset of I'm only going to go somewhere where I'm going to be able to enjoy myself and want to wake up every day and train and just get the best out of it. So yeah, my mindset really has just been about making the most of every opportunity really. I've been signing 1 year deals since I came back. And I've already done what France, Gloucester in the Premiership now, Rugby League. And I'm just enjoying every opportunity. Just at the end of the day, I'm allowing God to lead me in where I should go, and every decision that I've made, has given me a new experience, and I just want to keep that going.
Wadey, you're inspiring me, actually. That sounds fantastic. But, lads, we went down with Bath to train against Wigan with the Mike Ford connection. Mate, it's wild because we were like switching drills. So we train against them. They do some union drills. We do some league drills. But what I loved about the league one is there's a 10-meter offside line. And then if you're the tackler, you're onside. So you're just getting those counts. You're just bouncing around. And then you've got 10 meters before the D comes up. Makes the collisions wilder. But if you're playing those balls out the back and stuff, you got quite a lot of time on the ball.
Yeah.
And there's no set piece. How good. Mate, it was
No,
wild.
mate, you can't say that.
I was going to say, did you enjoy that? Did you?
Mate, I thought it was just refreshing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, when the sort of the bayonets are on and the tin hats are there, I'm sure it's a bit different. You've got to have a certain mentality. You see guys like Slamming and that talking about it. It is a bit different. Like the pre-season, the culture. League is definitely it's a very different sport in lots of respects. They look very familiar, but the sort of personalities and the sort of ethos are different, I think. But
why did you reckon you've got to be fitter to be a leaguey, or
there's rolling subs though, right? So if you're a big fella, they just roll you in and out.
Yeah, for the big fella, it's different. It's rolling subs. So like you say, like I was watching, was it? I think it was the scrum half of the hooker. They changed him out. He's not one of the big fellas, but still, is like I think he played like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then he came off. The next guy came on, and then 20 minutes in, he came back on the second half. And then there's the big guys. If you're gassed, they'll just take you off. But as a winger, I think you're probably expected to play the whole game. But I do think you have to be fitter. Everyone's telling me about much higher ball in play because there's no set piece, like you said. It's like a war of attrition, a lot of wrestling, contacts, and then obviously having to get back on side 10. But I think if you know the game, I was watching the winger on the weekend. He's not, how we always have to be flatline, like on side and then trying to get up. And then that's the new gain line. Obviously with this, that's the gain line, get back 10. So if you're on the wing, it's not coming your way. You can just kind of sit off. Yeah, you're going to be off 10 anyway. But as the ball gets closer, then you start creeping up. So, I'm sure there's going to be, ways to kind of make sure you conserve energy. But at the end of the day, it's basically conditioning games, mate. That's what it sounds like.
With contact. You mention it though, like see the holding down and like getting up. When I watch it, I think, fucking man, when you're doing it in the dojo and you're like, just like gentleman's agreement, just mate, I'll pretend to wriggle, just hold me down for 2 seconds, and you got to let me up. Oh, you just fucking please let me up. It just that's the time bit, isn't it?
Nah, you do see that because obviously they're trying to slow it down so the defense can get back 10, and it's that bit. That's definitely the bit I'm looking at. Like,
just don't get caught, mate. Just don't get caught.
Yeah, exactly. Getting up off the deck and then just trying to see, what's that like when you got 4 or 5 guys trying to hold you down, like maybe giving you a little dig. Then you got to get back up, play the ball. There's all those different nuances which are going to be the challenging parts. So yeah, no, but I just can't wait to get stuck in there, to be honest. But yeah, there are so many different things like that, which I'm like, I wonder what that's going to be like. You know, will I get gassed? Do I need to get fitter? What, you know, asking. Do you remember? You know, Bobby from England. He's obviously from Wigan. It's like, well, do you reckon I need to do more conditioning? What type of conditioning does my body need to be in? Like, it's like, yeah, loads of down and ups, mate. Loads of down and ups. You know, hitting tackle bags, down and ups. I'm like, yeah. So there are elements from rugby union, but I think it's just the amount of time you have to do it for. At least in union, it's like you do that, the ball goes out. Are you gonna get a breather? But here, the ball goes out, they're jogging down, someone's playing the ball in, tap, and then you're off. It's almost like a like a quick tap penalty, and so the ball's just always moving, mate.
I do love, like, and you can clearly see that you're backing yourself. You're confident. You don't actually, and what I've realised, like, from you talking, you don't actually know that much about league, which is what I fucking love. It's like, I don't know whether it was the scrum half or the hooker, but something was like running around.
Nah, bro, I'm literally like, I'm fresh. I'm fresh out of the room.
That's so good. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
What I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but for me, like you said, bro, I just back my abilities, bro, and like I believe I'm a fast learner. We'll see if that's the case. But yeah, man, you got to enjoy this sporting career, mate. You feel like it's a long time, and when I look back, I think how long I've known Max for. Since back in Academy Houses, Sunbury. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a long time. You know what I mean? And we've been doing this for like 15 years professionally, and it's just flown by, mate. And I'm just like, it's actually nuts. I don't feel like mad old or anything like that, but
same lady. But everyone looks at you like you're a fossil when you tell them how old you are.
Mate, no, but to be fair, when I look at it, I'm like, when was she born? Like, 2000. I'm like,
you're like wild.
This is nuts, bro. 2008, 2007. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. When I asked them about music artists, do you know who this person is? Who? I'm like,
it's films, boys. It's films. When people go, what's Kevin and Perry Go Large? You're like, you fucking what?
Who's Eyeball? Remember Eyeball Paul? Like, who's that?
Man, what was Max like in the academy?
Mate, Max obviously always been the big lad, you know what I mean? Just laid back, chilled. I think as the years has gone by, he's probably got, more funnier, if that's the word we want to use. But now he's always been a character, mate. For real. He actually has. And you've always had, I'm trying to think, but he's had different hair.
He had
long hair.
Yeah, he had the long one here, innit? Yeah, when he was younger. But Max has always been a good dude, but always in shape. I think he's actually got in even better shape as he's got older, you know what I mean?
It's weird, isn't it?
We're just going to take this opportunity, as always, every single week, because they've been with us right from the start. A massive thank you to our sponsors that are Wolf Craig Distillers. You can head over to the website, Max,
at wolfcraig.com.
Grab yourself a little tipple. The summer is coming. The sun has been out in Glasgow for all of 1 week. So head over there. It's not just whiskey. You can grab a lovely gin, make yourself any kind of cocktail you want. All you have to do is head over to the website, or if you're watching on YouTube, scan that QR code. Big thanks to Wolf Craig Distillers. Ooh. And whilst we're on this, boys, we've got to do it. We've got to tell the people that are listening to make sure they click the big bell. That's right, at the top of the screen, to make sure they get all notifications. And obviously, again, if you're watching this and having to put up with our ugly mugs on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to drive the algorithm. It's all about the algorithm, Max, isn't it?
Absolutely. Game it. Game the algorithm. Life's an algorithm.
Help us help you.
Life is an
algorithm.
Bell. Big bell. Big bell end.
The big bell next to the sign that says following, because you've already followed it, haven't you, dear listeners? You've definitely followed. So it would say following, and next to it there's a big bell. Ring the bell. You can ring our bell.
You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. Boo-doo. Boop, boo-doo.
Speaking of shape, all right, you were in the NFL, right? A little bit of first touch the ball, touchdown, unbelievable scenes. Now, obviously, the challenges of the NFL are the technical, the playbook, like all of that, learning the sport. But what about athletically? What did you think of the guys playing that sport? Are they as superhuman as the sort of media and the press over that way make out, or are there sort of comparable athletes to in rugby union for the NFL?
Yeah, I think there definitely are some comparable athletes. They're not superhuman, but they train to be superhuman, if that makes sense. They have that mentality of, they're so hungry to be the best, because it is really like make or break. If they don't do football, whatever sport it is, they're going back to, sometimes lifestyles is not very desirable, you know what I mean? So for them, it is make or break. Some guys just love working out and want to be the best and challenge themselves, so it is, it really is, that's what makes it elite. And some guys just want to compete, just love competing. And the thing is, in the NFL, the rewards are so, high that, who wouldn't want to compete? If it's, I remember in my team, you had some guys who, if they got, I think it was 6-7 sacks in the season, they were going to make $500,000. So it's like, mate, you're going to do everything you can to get those 7 sacks, because that $500,000 is going to taste sweet, when you get that in your bank at the end of the season. And, that's on top of whatever he's already making. Just getting drafted, if you go first 3 rounds, you're looking at, M's, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's life-changing money. It's going to, set you up for your life, not just you, your family, maybe some friends. And so, yeah, I think that's what the big driver is over there. Compared to over here in England, we obviously have some incentives and stuff, but it's more, guys will do stuff because they're good at it already. Other guys, they put some work in, but, the percentage of guys who are really going hard, like the Americans are, is a lot smaller. And I think that's really the difference, But if you take the top athletes from England, Europe, and put them over there, then they can definitely compete and hang with the likes of the superstars over there, I believe.
Oh, fascinating.
Talk us through, Christian. Max alluded to it, but I remember we played it actually at the BBC on when it happened, because it was on the wires and everything, and it was such a big deal. You were playing against, just to explain the context, you'd done the international player pathway, then you got picked up with the Bills, and then you're taking on the Colts in a training game, but with thousands and thousands of people watching. It's your first touch, and you literally tear it up with like a 65-yard touchdown, right? Talk us through how that felt for you in that exact moment.
It was like, so for like I kind of told you through the play. Obviously, it's the first preseason game, and usually game 1 and 2, when there was 4 games, the game 1 and 2, you would put in like your starters and your guys who are definitely going to be in, your superstars, and they might play first 2 quarters, or just the first quarter, and then after that they won't play anymore. Then you'll start putting in your guys who you think have a shot of making the team, and that's kind of how they work through the quarters. And unlike in rugby over in England, everyone's going to play preseason. Over there, there's guys who won't get a snap just because either the team doesn't trust, the coaches don't trust them, or they just don't think they're good enough. So they won't even put them in the game. So obviously I get put in the 4th quarter, and this is obviously after doing training from April, the preseason training camp in like July. So, first of all, I'm gassed, because I'm like, bro, I'm getting snaps in the first game, which obviously means like, they trust me and they want to see what I can do. And
did you know before, Christian, or is it a case of like, Wade, where's Wade? Bring Wade out.
Yeah. Nah, yeah, it's literally like that. Yeah, it's like that. You kind of know, like in preseason and stuff, like if you're getting snaps because I'm saying about snaps in the game, you won't get snaps in practice if they don't trust you. You won't get a snap in walkthroughs, bro. It's that deep. Like,
I'm pitching it though. The coach is on the sideline. He's got his little, fucking clipboard, and he's like, "Somebody bring Wade out. Wade, where are you?" And you're like, and you're bouncing around like, "Let's pretend we're in the movie."
And I think they don't even say your name; they say your number, bro.
Exactly. I was gonna say.
You don't even have a name, right? You don't have a name, bro.
So sorry. What number?
I'm 45. I said, 45. You're in. I was like, okay, cool. But like, I mean, the way it is, like in training, obviously we're in training with like offense on one sideline, the defense on the other sideline, so it kind of mimics the game. So like in training, you basically stand with your position coach. So I'm running back, so I'm with my running back coach, and we're running backs. We'll hear the next to us, the receivers, then the linemen, and then the tight ends, and so obviously when the offense are on the field, you're there just waiting, like to see if your number gets called and stuff. So when they're like, 45, you're in, and you just have to be ready. So I'm like, oh shit, like, all right, cool. So I obviously go in the game. They call the play, and then there's pressure from the edge, so he throws it, and he basically throws it out of bounds. And I'm like, oh shit, because he was looking for me, but he just had too much pressure. So the second play, they obviously called a run play, and obviously the whole game we've been doing a scheme to try and get them to basically overshoot so we can cut it back. So when they call the play, that's when I'm like doing my reads, make sure I'm standing in the right position. Because when you call the play, you have to know like where you have to line up. You have to know your assignment, which is, is anyone coming off the edge? Do I need to block somebody? If the linebacker runs across, then I need to get across to pick up the safety. If he doesn't come, and so it's mad stuff you have to do in a matter of like seconds, right? And then obviously if none of that happens, then you're like, okay, what's my aiming point? And then what's my read? So it's like, it's nuts, bro. So obviously this happens, and obviously it's a run play, so I know I don't need to block anyone. I'm definitely getting the ball. And they change the front, so they obviously call it audible. So they shift the front to overload one side, which is exactly what we want them to do. So in my head, I'm like, oh shit, like I'm gonna cut it back. I know what I'm gonna do, but I don't know how it's gonna pan out. Like it's like, fingers crossed type of thing.
And then do they actually shout like blue 44, blue 99?
Yeah. So obviously that's part of the play, but you have a cadence, and there's like 15 different cadences. You have to learn all of those. So it'll be like on one, which will be like the basic snap on the first, like white 20 set up, or it might be on two. So then it's like a dummy. Then you go on the second one, but it's literally a list. You have to
okay, but what have you heard in this play? Because I'm thinking, what's the quarterback giving you now? He's giving you
so he's giving me the play, and then I think he's probably just done it on like one of I can't actually remember the exact cadence, but like once you get going, you're only really going to start using the more technical ones if you're getting pressure and you're trying to get them to jump off side and stuff. But we're pretty chill in this moment, so he's probably just done like on one or on two, which is like dummy the first one, and we'll go on the second one.
Why hut, not yep?
I don't know.
Question, but you know what I mean?
I actually didn't ask that. Well, I was asking a lot of questions, but I didn't ask that question.
Okay, sorry. So we've given it a fucking white one, hut, and off you've gone.
Yeah. So obviously the ball, he comes out, gives me the ball, but like I said, I know they've overloaded, so I'm like, 2-3 steps, and I'm cutting it back. I think I not fumbled, but I didn't even do the proper like handoff because I was so excited, just like give me the ball. Then I just cut it back, and then it literally our blockers just held them down, and it just opened up. And I was like, yeah, I'm gone. So I just like
helmet rattling around, like
yeah.
You can hear the breath.
All of that, bro. I mean, I'm actually mic'd up. They had me mic'd up for that game. So if you type in like Christian Wade NFL mic'd up, you can hear everything that's going on, bro. And it pretty much sounds like that. That's amazing. And then obviously I get to the end zone, and I'm in my head, I'm just like jumping around, like, yo, this is sick. The guys come in, just like pick me up, and I'm like, oh, they're squeezing me so tight and stuff. And then, yeah, bro, the feeling was just crazy. I think, everything I had to go through to get to that point, from trying to get out of Wash and leaving there, all the training I did on my own, traveling down to London and then going to Florida 4 months, then going through the whole process of OTAs, coming back, training hard. just everything, that one moment just for me just like solidified the decision I made. Was like, yeah, you know, if I don't do anything else, like I'm happy with the process and scoring this touchdown. And it didn't stop there. Obviously, I continued to like do some great stuff the following week and the last game, and then obviously I was able to get 2 contracts, and then obviously it was cut short with my shoulder. So yeah, man, it was it was a surreal feeling, bro, just to score in the NFL my first touch, and just do what I do all the time, bro, since a kid, running fast, using my footwork and enjoying myself. So that's really what it all boils down to, isn't it?
Christian, they loved it though, didn't they? Like that was the other bit. It was like the commentating is brilliant because it's almost like everybody wanted you to have that moment, and it was like, yeah, it's weird, and then but also you saw all of the guys on the sides just flooding on like
England.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, it's like, in the football environment, although there's like pre-season about 100 guys, you kind of grow really tight because the amount of time you spend with each other, going through playbooks. Training camp, bro, is like meeting from 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you don't get back to your bedroom or your dorm until like 9:30 p.m. So you're just spending hours in meetings, going through so much stuff, and you develop like a brotherhood and stuff. So everyone was just kind of gassed because they knew us from rugby. Once they had figured out that rugby was a real sport, that we got paid to do it, that was on TV. Like, these are the questions.
Oh my God, you guys are fucking crazy. No bad.
Yeah. These are the questions I was getting and stuff. And obviously, I was able to bring my personality to different stuff, through training camp. So, I guess I developed like, became like a likable person in the team, which meant that, although we were competing for jobs, Buffalo was a special place where we all wanted everybody to do well. And pre-season especially is that like celebratory period because everyone's done all the hard work, pre-season camps, and you get to the games, and that's when everyone wants to do their best. Everyone wants to make a big play. Everyone wants to do something, because if you make a big play, it's highly likely that you're going to get paid. It's highly likely that if the team you're on doesn't pick you up, another team will pick you up. So it's like, for me, everyone was just excited. Like, he's like come all this way and he's been able to get in the game, from not really knowing shit and getting stuff wrong in the beginning to, being able to score. And I didn't expect all of that, to be honest, but yeah, it was sick, bro. It was sick.
It's like something out of a movie. It just
that moment as well. It was so phenomenal.
So going back, I was going to take it back to rugby just for a second, because Mark mentioned, how far are you off the try-scoring record in the Prem?
I think it's 12. Yeah, 11 to equal it, and 12 to basically be number one.
Fuck, how many games left?
4 games, yeah. So I need a hat-trick in every single one.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, you just got to play Bristol. Sorry, I have to say.
You got to play us.
Just got to play Bristol again.
All right, Max will let you through. Max will give you the old matador. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, that is too soon. That is too.
Why so aroused for us, by the way? Mental. That kick you did on the third try was wild. You shouldn't have got that in. That
at the first game?
Mate, I remember ball just stayed there. Ding, 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 ding. I was like, there's no chance. No way. No, he hasn't got it. No, Wade. And he's done it. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Bro, the funniest thing was like when you was talking about, say, it was like something out of Final Fantasy where I think it was
Final Destination, where it was always going to happen.
Yeah, Final Destination. Yeah, there's just one guy's coming across, the other guy comes, takes him out, and he picks up Gaz.
I remember that clip now. I do remember that.
It was, mate. I kicked it, and obviously I was chasing after it because you had your commentary. Let me commentate on my. Let me commentate on my thing, right? So I've for those who didn't know, I've scored tries like this plenty of times in my career, kicked down the line there. But with this one, I've hit it, and then I'm watching it, and I'm like, it bounced once, twice, and I know it's curling back in. So I'm like, I'm gonna start putting the burners on here. So I start chasing after it, and I see the guys coming across. I'm still gonna chase, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna chase it, but like they've got it covered. There's 3 guys, and then One goes into touch, the other one comes, takes the other one out, and I'm just like, oh. And then it's that last bounce. It's the last bounce. When the Lions hit, it just goes bang and just pops up into my hand. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. You see my face, bro. You see my face.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were
just
just like, I am him. You were like that. I'm him. Yeah.
no, I was just like, yo, this couldn't happen any better because it's this, my second game back in the Premiership. So I was just excited, but I just like having fun, bro. That's my thing.
I know that. I know that.
That was
Is it top four? Is it top four in the Prem that play off? Is it only the top four?
Yeah.
So you've still got a chance then to push, because I think just looking here, 46, 44. So, and you've got Newcastle, Exeter. So you've got some big games. It'd be pretty special to finish your rugby union, because this must be it now. Rugby union career off on a high with Gloucester.
Well, I've only signed till the end of the season with Wigan. But
there's UFC and stuff after that. So like,
And Marcus did remind me that I've probably got a fight against Jake Paul coming up after that as well. So
we're supposed to be playing that right now, aren't we? Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, mate, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Like you said, there are 4 games left, and we're still in the run for a playoff spot. Depending on how those games go.
Hey, you boys were my dark horses, weren't they? At the beginning of the season.
And they have been very dark horses, outstanding. They have been galloping and neighing.
I know we've said we'd keep you for 20, but I've got a shallow question because you did mention, some of the people, what they play for, and you've told me like what you're doing it for. But in terms of leagues, then what's the cash like? What's the cash like in league? Is it?
I don't know, bro. I just worry about my deal, so I don't know what.
It's my piece.
Actually, I don't really know. I do know in the NRL they're getting paid. It's really, really good.
So that's.
I think it's Super League. It's not as much as that, but clearly the guys are still getting paid well. But yeah, I don't. To be honest, I don't really know. For me, I would like to say that money is my my motivation, but I just don't think there is. I think that rugby players should get paid more across the board anyway. If you exclude NRL, exclude France, and exclude Japan, I think for what we do, there should be more money available. There should be insurances in there as well, and this is just coming off the back of obviously being in America and stuff. We also had a players' union over there that make sure that there's certain things in place, insurance and stuff. Is you see guys who are struggling with concussions and different injuries and stuff. I think that we need to try and figure out a way to protect us as players, so that if anything does happen, we can be secure afterwards for all the work that we put in. But yeah, in terms of rugby league, bro.
I'm just reading here. It says club salary value. So 2 marquee players whose salary cap value is limited to 150 grand a year, but you're not even in the old salary cap. So
it's just Ryan's way of trying to ask you what you earn, by the way.
It's not. I'm just interested to see what league is like, because I did think I know that the NRL is different gravy. It used to be like Joseph Sualihi coming over, but some of the players came back. It's mental money, but mate, that's not off the cards. Then have a good year at Wigan. We might see you over in the NRL. That would be pretty cool,
mate. Lads, I'll be happy to host you guys if you want to do a rugby league.
Double Bay, maybe a South Sydney, maybe Manly.
If you wanted to do a rugby league
Eagles.
special, bro, let me know, bro. I can speak to some of the guys. Obviously, there's a couple dudes in the Wigan team that's some real ballers, bro. I'm sure they would love to get on the podcast.
And I've heard they're all fucking mental on the piss as well.
Is it? Well, I don't drink, so
Oh well, just watch out. Watch out. You might do soon.
Wait, one last question. So I saw you were training with Henry down in Paris for a bit. Henry around, yeah. Who's the king of speed there? You were at
I'm getting a little bit older in it, so I'll make way for Henry. You know what I mean? I think his first game we got like a hat trick and stuff. But yeah, but Henry's still very. Hey, people forget Henry's still very young. I think Henry's like 21,
Yeah.
21, 22. But nah, he's definitely got some raw speed in there. But yeah, that's really all I'll say on that one. Really, we never had a race.
But he's special. You say
but
he's a special athlete.
No, 100%, bro. Like power, and for a guy of his size, he's actually quite a big lad. I remember when I seen him before on first time I saw him, he scored that try against Australia. I was like,
Yeah,
bro,
that was yummy.
busting through speed, footwork. I was like, oh, okay, maybe got a little something. And then training with him, working out with him in the gym, seeing him on the field play, and then obviously training, training on the field with him as well. Yeah, he's definitely a special player, and hopefully he can, start showing some more stuff when he comes back here to Bath next season.
Dreamy.
Has there ever been a player, we're talking speed, where in your entire time there was another either winger or somebody else that you were like, oh, this guy might be just as fast as I am?
Yeah, like I think I've always believed in like anybody can get got at any given moment. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not about whether they're faster than you or not. But if we're looking at like out and out raw speed, if I've come up against a player and been like he's got me, or this is going to be tough. I remember when I played against Habana in Toulon, came over to the Rieko. He would be one who I was like, yeah, I'm not sure if there was a foot race how this would go down. Luckily we didn't have one, and yeah, that was lucky. I played against Nguyen. Remember Nguyen as well? When he
it's an American, yeah.
He was another one, but I was a young spring chicken as well, so I was like, I'm up for it to see what's really good. And I actually first game back scored 2 tries in that game, so I felt like I won that battle there.
We signed Carlin Isles. Do you remember him?
Yeah, Carlin. So Carlin is a good friend of mine actually, but if I never had to play against him, luckily, but he definitely would be someone who I'd be like, yeah, just go, just run.
It was fun. He never actually played a game for Glasgow Warriors, but we put him into the 7th team at Melrose, and they were just throwing the ball. It was him and Nico Matawalu on the wings, and they were just like rounding everyone.
Nico is wild. I played with Nico as well. He's wild, but yeah, Carlin Isles. Yeah, he's a man definitely to be feared. Like you said, like he could literally run sideways and round you like any player, bro. He's like a 10-1 in 100 meters, so he's like a real track athlete. But yeah, there's not to be honest, there haven't been many guys who I've been like, oh shit. And yeah, hopefully there aren't. Hopefully I don't come up against anyone who I have to worry about. But maybe I've got a couple.
You won't in league, mate. They're just going to run it straight down your channel. They're not going to try and go around you, son.
Mate, hopefully I've got 2-3 other guys to help me with that, innit?
Final one, Wadey, with obviously the Lions coming up, and it's 12 years since you were flown out to Australia.
13 years. Is it 12 years? Sorry, yeah.
How was it? Quick one on the whole, because that all sort of came about. You were technically flying, I think, to Argentina, or you were flying anyway off to play for England, and then suddenly the next thing you know, you're going off to Australia.
Yeah, so we was already out there. It was the morning of the second test, and the second test and the last test. Prior to that, I actually had a letter from Lions, so I knew that I was like in the wider squad. And so when they were announcing it on TV, I think that was the first time they did the live announcements. We were watching it. I think everybody was just around lunchtime. Everyone was at their clubs just watching to see if, who was going to get picked. So I was like quietly in the back. No one knew that obviously I had a letter and stuff. Just seeing if there was an outside chance that didn't get picked. No one knew that I had a letter, so it was, not as much pressure. But yeah, we was in Argentina, just made my debut for England. Out there this morning of the second test, I was sharing with Mike Brown, and we were just chilling in the room after like breakfast, I think, and pre-match meal was just coming up, and got a knock at the door, and Brian's like, "Oh, who's?" I go to the door, and I look through the peephole, and it's Stuart, and I'm like, "Mate," I was like, "Why is Lanny here?" And obviously, Lanny doesn't come to the boys' room, so I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm probably in trouble." So like, what's happening, bro? I open the door, and he goes, "Oh, can I come in?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, he's like, "Who you sharing with?" I was like, "Oh, Brownie." So he comes in and he just says like, I just got off the phone to Warren Gatland. They want you to come join up with them to play on the Lions tour, and you're going to be starting on the wing with Shane Williams, and Brad Barrett's going to be going as well. I was like, what? So literally, well, I think that Brad was already there. He had left maybe like midweek before this game, and I was just like, just taken away, man. I just kind of dropped to my bed. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. So, I think you had a great camp. They asked me about you and blah blah, and I said, yeah. Like, he doesn't mind me going, and he said, you'll go, and Johnny May will start instead of you this weekend. He said, we're gonna leave for the game, but you're gonna stay here. A car's gonna pick you up. All you need to do is take like your toiletries. We'll pack all the rest of your stuff and take it with us, and you'll get all your kit and stuff when you land. And yeah, that was that, bro. Literally got on a plane. I think it was like I had to get two flights. It was like from Argentina to like Chile to somewhere else, and then change again. So it took me like a day and a bit to get there. And as soon as I landed, someone picked me up from the airport, and the boys were in like a team meeting, about to go for a team run. And so I came to the meeting late, and they were all waiting. Like, I think it was a bit of a joke. Everyone's just like waiting for me to come in, clapped me in and stuff, sat down, had their meeting, and at the end, Gats was like, Christian, anything you want to add, mate? I was like, nah, I'm good. And everyone starts laughing, we leave, go to do a team run, after team run, like press conference, back to the hotel, shower, had to like shower in one of the boys' rooms, and then straight on the bus to the airport, and we was flying to Canberra. And then the next time I wake up, it's game day, mate. So it was nuts, bro. Like whirlwind, mate. Just off the back of a long season tour, first game, second game, you're not playing here, you're gonna fly, you're gonna play for the Lions. Another like 3 flights, training, another flight. So yeah, it was, mate.
That is crazy, isn't it? Right, give us your backline for this Lions tour, just off the cuff. When we've not prepped him, so don't judge him.
Listen. I actually couldn't do it, bro. Everyone know. Do you know why? Because everyone who knows me, I don't really know players, bro. Like,
who are you? Okay.
Who are your wingers? Who are your wingers?
Hey, I couldn't give you names, bro. I'm not even, anyone who knows me, I couldn't.
Who's your favorite league players?
hey, it's the same, bro. I just play the sport. I know like faces, bro. Like,
who are you starting at 10? Who are you starting at 10?
Bro, this is what I'm saying, bro.
It's not pretty pressure.
I would say Marcus Smith, bro.
Unbelievable.
Okay,
I love that.
Wait, hang on, because you must have come across enough like 2 wingers that you're like
Nah, doesn't know.
Let me think. For wingers, I think you probably have to have James Lowe in there, bro, for real, on the left wing, and then right winger. Trying to think who
good Scotland. Good Scotland wingers.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Randy Mercer, obviously, because he's a big dude and stuff. But I'm thinking, you got to have one big, one small one. I got to represent the small guys, isn't it? So
Darcy Graham. No, that's good. Darcy Graham. Who's that?
Nah. I'm just trying to think, bro. Yeah, but I'm genuinely so bad with like playing.
No, mate. Listen, myself and Max know fucking nothing about rugby, and we got a podcast, so I don't know.
Mate, let's put Max on the wing, bro.
Max.
I'm trying to think who would be like maybe someone who's like an outside chance, isn't it? Like a young one.
Who's an outside chance winger?
For a winger though, it will probably be one of the England ones because they would be probably the youngest wingers in the of the good wingers. They'll probably be one of the
Slight home.
The youngest, yeah, like a Slight Home or
Tommy Freeman. He's going. He's in.
Tommy Freeman. Yeah. You reckon he would be starting?
I think he might. Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell Wade isn't like he's not that quick. You're all about pace.
Yeah. What did
But he's a solid winger though. But yeah, I'm just trying to think, man. It's Lions, isn't it? You gotta have some X factors, bro.
Yeah, I'm all for a winger that speed kills. I'm like, you got to have one that just is mental quick. So
yeah, bro,
that is fucking priceless. Listen, we better let that go, boy.
Nah, but genuine, bro. I'm so bad with like names and stuff. If you ask anyone, they'll be like, yeah, don't ask Wade, but he doesn't.
What are you into then? What do you do with your free time, Christian? What are you up to these days?
Bro, to be honest, right now I'm working on a couple projects on the side, bro. I've got my own foundation, which I've been doing rugby camps, some mentoring, working in a few different schools, doing some seminars and stuff. Not necessarily me personally, but bring people in to provide the seminars. Also, I say provide the speaking of the different subjects, and then just a couple of business ventures that I'm into on the side, bro. And then I'm a musician as well, so you can catch me in the studio, bro, either on my own or with my little brother. Well, he's not so little anymore, but he's 30. But yeah, bro. Like, if I'm watching sports, it'll be like American sports, but I don't really watch a lot of rugby, unless it's to do analysis and stuff like that. But
whatever. I don't even like it.
I do watch training and do analysis on teams, but you kind of get to that point where you kind of know how the game's gonna flow and stuff. So you're looking for specific stuff, and I don't think you need to know people's names for real, bro. You just need to know who you're playing against.
You've been Americanized. You're just all about numbers. He's just a squad number. Number 11, number 14. Watch out for them.
Nah, but I've always been like, even when I'm on the field, I just see bodies in it. I don't necessarily see, oh, that's this person, that's this person. For me, it's more just about bodies, bro.
Have you always been like that though? I feel like that's something you just got into as you aged, no?
Nah, so when I was young, it was still kind of like that. But when you're younger, you do pay more attention to I'm playing against this guy. He plays for England or whatever, and you're definitely into it more. But so yeah, I guess as I've got older, it has changed slightly. But even when I was younger, I didn't really know. I'll know the Premiership, but if we play someone in some French or whatever, I'm like, I don't know. And he was like, bro, how do you not know? That's this guy. And I'm like, yeah, bro. But yeah, definitely now it's a lot worse because obviously leaving for 4 years, or so I say 6 years, and coming back, there's guys in the Premiership now who I'm like, bro, I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's worse. That's why you ask me questions like that. I'm like, bro, he's trying to he's putting me on the spot, trying to embarrass me, bro.
Matt.
Yeah, that's
Matt
bad.
said to me.
No. I didn't do that. Ryan did that.
Question.
Yeah. Thank you. Exactly.
Brilliant. Well, Christian, mate, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Sorry that we've kept you on for so long. Best of luck for the rest of the season. We hope that somehow you get another 6 games. It's only a couple of tries per game.
Yeah.
And then you might as well finish off on that high, and then even more luck and for the brand new adventure in Rugby League. That promises to be an incredible thing for you. So best of luck, mate, and thank you very much for your time.
Cheers.
Inspiring, lady.
Legend. Cheers, lady.
You're a good man.
See you later.
See you soon, Brian. See you soon.
What a bloke.
Good.
What a bloke. There's a few stories there as well. Like, Jesus, what a career. You know what I mean?
Mate, that's cool.
First cap.
I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go try that. I'm going to have a crack at that.
He's inspired me. All right, that's it, boys. I'm dusting off the boost. I'm going to David Lloyd tomorrow. I'm going to Blaze with the 20 other Wynnum, and I'm going to play rugby league.
Mate, I'm actually now considering it. I'm just might even ask. Be like, anyone? Maybe
Anyone?
no, that's too old, isn't it?
Max, you could just also the idea that you could just roll in and out as well. Like, guys, just go in, power out, try and melt 3 people, run hard, and then come off.
That's what Andy Powell used to do. Yeah, that's what they had Powley for as well. I think he played at Wigan, didn't he?
Yeah, I know, but he didn't go so well, did he?
No, but I think he was just just run him straight, use him for 10 minutes, and then pull him
he
off.
He could run straight, though, yeah.
Right, boys, a lot of big news in the rugby world, none more so than the chief tormentor in some respects of Johnny Sexton, Rieko Ioane, going to his celestial home, heading to Leinster. Boys, did we see that coming?
No, I didn't. It's like exactly like Wadey was saying. It's like that one was kept under the radar. That was fucking no one saw that coming. Are they still getting Damien Willems?
Is Damien Willems still going then?
I don't think so. That's the thing. I think that's the one that isn't happening now. Let me just check that.
Oh, I think what makes it even bigger news is all the beef that he had with Ireland, and obviously it was bigged up. And I think I saw something. I think maybe Leo Cullen. I can't remember who it was. It said something in the press. You know, there's a meal made of it. It was made bigger than it was. You know, the whole thing with him and Sexton, etc. So, listen, look at what Geordie Barrett has done. Why not? And I think there just might be a bit of bitterness kicking about the other Irish teams because they're going, well, hold on a minute.
Well, Williams, so sorry, is still on. The deal is potentially it's in there.
And Ioane.
So and R.G. Snyman, he's stayed on. They've signed him on again.
He's staying. Yeah.
So they must lose Rabah Slimani. Is that right?
Yeah.
How many can you have? How many can you have? 3. In Ireland. I can't remember how it works.
Oh, we've got lots of Leinster fans who listen and watch. Boys, ladies and gentlemen, jump into the comments. Let us know because that is unfair, right? For those who are not Leinster fans, if you're a Munster, a Connacht fan, or an Ulster fan, aren't you a bit like, where's our?
You'd be a little bit like, where are the resources being spread evenly? We got the sort of Irish national team with a smattering of some of the finest international caliber players on the planet lining up for Leinster. And then what's happened to the sort of glory days of Munster? And even Ulster were finalists back in the day with Pedri van den Berg, John Afoa, etc. So Rumpina. So it's interesting how there's this sort of, there's been like a kind of, I don't know. It just seems that the power's being sort of revolved around Leinster in terms of the Irish Rugby Union. But interesting to see what's going on there. I'm sure sort of Ulster, Munster, and Connacht faithful are a bit scratching their heads about what's going on. But
it must make it easier when you look from overseas and you look at how Leinster are going and what they're doing in Champions Cup, what they're doing in the URC. It must make it that's has to be a bearing. You know, if they went, oh well, what about the other teams? I mean, if someone went to Rieko Ioane and said, and no discredit to Connacht, but I fucking love Galway, one of the best nights out. But they would go, well, now.
Oh, no, I can absolutely see the appeal. Yeah, I am completely with you on that. But it's sort of like, it seems to me that Leinster's sort of age group guys, the age group guys that don't make it to Leinster's first team are the ones that get spread around the league right now. So if you don't make Leinster in the academy, you go onwards to Munster. Or if you're in the squad and you're not playing much at Leinster, you end up at Munster or Ulster, etc. I think that's the sort of what's going on, but I'm not 100% intimate with it all.
I love when Ryan, like, people look at, from abroad and everything. Yeah, you look at them from abroad. They've played 20 games a season in the Champions Cup, and they've lost 1 game all season. Yeah, they didn't lose a game in the Champions Cup. Yeah. They've, as we've just, they haven't conceded a point since when did they play Bath? In January, mid-January, haven't conceded a point.
And that was only in the first half they conceded points. So yeah,
yes, they sound good. I'll go there.
Yeah, they realistically should go on a mad title run, shouldn't they? Really.
Like, they should. That is why the pressure's on. That is why the pressure is on. They need to do something. Have
Then
they
you
picked too early? We will.
Shut up.
Let's talk about other Leinster news, another Leinster man, shall we?
Yeah, that huge. Johnny Sexton joining the Lions as one of the coaches. What did we see that? What do we think?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like if you're an aspiring coach, you've been at the whetstone grinding your axe away. Is that not like a hallowed position? Is that not like a glorious appointment? And then Johnny Sexton, obviously an incredible player, great legacy with the shirt, with Ireland, European rugby, etc., sort of jumps the queue. I'd argue that as a coach, you might feel hard done by if you're an ambitious man. So, yeah, I think there's something a little odd about it. But you can also see it. You can sort of understand his decision. Like Farrell's knows him very well. He obviously he's had a massive input into Farrell's success. I imagine intellectually as well as a player in terms of on the field. But I think he also would sort of embody a lot of Farrell's sort of coaching philosophy. And I think someone like Sexton must have had a massive influence on that. So
he doesn't coach anyone, does he? Does he coach?
No, but a player like that sort of.
No, I know that. I know
that element, isn't there?
But also, I know how much it's not just about turning up. There's so much else that goes into it. Like
the hours,
what Pete Horne does. See,
it's
I play with. He's in with the Scotland team now, and the fucking graft he puts in, and like the hours he puts in behind the scenes. There's a fair bit to it. So there's a fair bit to this. So yeah, I was fucking surprised, to be honest. I guess, and I think you bang on with it, Max. Like I feel like there is a little bit of a sense of jumping the queue. So I'm happy you said that, because there will be a few coaches out there. My question is, does that mean that Owen Farrell's not going? Because that almost, for me, you take Owen Farrell because he gives that leadership side of things. He is what Johnny Sexton almost is. So I feel like it almost makes a better case that Owen Farrell might not be going now. Does that make sense? Because I reckon Owen Farrell is that bloke that's been there, done it, comes in, he knows it inside out, and he's all about driving standards. I've heard Johnny Sexton's exactly the same. Been there, done it, all about driving standards. So he's that voice of that.
Yeah, but you're still not a player.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're not in the changing room. Do you know what I mean?
And a lot of people have messaged me going, what does that do for Finn's chances? Why?
Wow, this is no. There's a big debate about this, because Johnny Sexton has said essentially after he retired that he's called Finn because he's still bitter about the 2021 not being picked on that 2021 tour, and in his mind, I think Finn took his spot, and he has said he used the term that he was flashy and a media darling.
That's right. I forgot about that, Mark. Shit.
And I think the bit of context as well, I think he said, they were he's the fly half of the team that came fourth, was kind of, I think, the sentiment. So
Finn's bolted on, man, surely.
But what does that do when one of the coaches is
not?
Well, has been not outspoken. It's not like he was asked.
Yeah, but it's not great
that he's slightly irritated about this 2021 version.
Yeah, well, I guess he's got to park that. If he's going to be a coach, he has to park that and move on past it. And you hope he does, because Finn's tearing it up in the Prem. He's a 10 that's in form at the moment. Probably didn't have the best Six Nations, but the way he's going with Bath, he's doing well. So, well, there you have it. Well, fucking hell, what news? And then just quickly, there's a restructure of the Premiership. We'll quickly touch on that because they're going to change that up. They want to look to do a franchise with it, which I think works. They copy the NFL sort of thing, the IPL
NFL
cricket
model, yeah.
And they're trying to work out a way that then distribute the funds evenly and make it more of a.
Imagine if they did like draft systems and stuff. So
how cool would that be?
Draft and stuff. If you're like an unrepresented player in the Prem.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's exactly what Preston was saying there. What Wadey was saying there is, you get people from different backgrounds in the NFL that actually it's life-changing money, and they will fucking do anything to. That's why they'll do 8 till 9 p.m. You told a rugby player now there's players playing the URC that are on 40 grand a year. Come in at 8 a.m, you finish at 9 p.m. And there might be people that list this go, well, but that's that's what they should be doing. But you can't be expected to put your body online, go through like the ringer like we do.
It's not a sedentary job, agreed. And there's
that is the way to drive it forward. So maybe, Bill Sweeney, they kept him on for a reason. Maybe he had something right up his sleeve, that bad boy who's.
Or maybe that Saudi money is coming. Maybe there's that little competition that everyone's whispering about on the horizon. The mega teams.
Oh, the whisper's getting louder though, Max.
Oh yes,
changing rooms.
Louder. I hear there's conversations being had with certain somebodies all around the world.
If only they could take a pundit over there.
I
hear it's very interesting. The money in particular, potentially life-changing for some.
Well, wouldn't that be that would then suddenly?
I feel like this sort of franchising thing could be like some kind of answer or defense in sort of regard to this coming huge monster tournament. But who could say if it happens? We've heard inklings and whisperings before, but this one sounds a little bit more pertinent, a little bit more convincing.
Oh, we'll stay tuned. Well, that's been a long one, boys.
So yeah, we've gone through a whole lot. Huge thank you to those of you who've made it to the end. Huge thank you to Ryan and Max as always, and to Christian Wade for taking the time to talk to us. Do comment, ring our bell. You can ring our bell. Get on Spotify, ring our bell, hit following, and ring the bell, and then your life will be better. That is a guarantee. No, that's the all or nothing guarantee, and that means something in this world. We can't define what it means, but it means something.
Yeah.
But we will see all of you next week.
Peace out, baby. Thanks for listening.
Ta-ta for now. More or nothing.